You know what? I think I'm gonna... I think I'm gonna break format here a little bit and actually show the interview itself. Here's the first thing.
First year at camp, 4 days old.
It was amazing how many people gave us gifts, and just, it was the extended family thing again. Like, they were so sweet and thoughtful and caring.
And all 4 of your kids have basically been raised here.
And grow closer to each other and learn something. I think a big thing is that, you know, it's one of the few places where you can come to camp as a whole family. You know, our kids go to other summer camps a little bit here and there, and you know, you send them, you don't go with them, and it's not really an option. I mean, maybe they have a weekend or so where parents can come, but you know, I think it's a different experience where whole families can come and you know, be a part of the scouting experience together.
You know, you'll see like kids in strollers being pushed around, younger siblings and stuff like.
And we were hiking, and it had a troop number on the bridge. No matter what, there was Cub Scout camping opportunities and ways to bring new people into the program, and ways to make sure that that program was still really important and vital and life-changing for them. It did so much for all of us, and it did so much for, you know, all the kids that grew up here and, you know, became staff and ran programs for other kids, that we want to make sure that it continued. Obviously, I'd love to keep it here because this is where, you know, I feel like I grew up. But the most important part was to make sure that we had, you know, programs that continued and making it safe for us to get kids through. Carried it all out in the wood.
Camp now. How things are going now?
Pioneer Hike. It's just a beautiful spot. I believe it was 334.
Now to talk about camp now. How things are going now. With everything that's happening. When did you first hear about all of that? Or what they were planning to do?
Well, in the beginning days of, you know, knowing that we needed to pay out this money for the bankruptcy, there wasn't really a lot of thought that it was going to be that terrible lot for us. The possible amounts grew, and then they started to have meetings, and honestly, I thought it was not going to go this way. And I went to the meetings, you know, when I could, and argued the case for keeping this property because I think it was important. And I think the most vital part to me is to make sure that we have a Cub Scout resident camp, because I think any organization and any part of the country, it's always, you know, the littlest ones among us are the most important. We got to take care of, you know, everyone, you know, from the youngest to the oldest. But if we don't spend a lot of time and effort training the youngest among us, then, you know, one day everything that's around won't be taken care of.
They won't value it.
They won't value, you know, the camps. They won't value other people. You know, you got to train up kids in the way that they should be. And so the most vital part going forward for us was keeping a Cub Scout resident camp. We had to make sure that no matter what, there was Cub Scout camping opportunities and ways to bring new people into the program, and ways to make sure that that program was still really important and vital and life-changing for them. It did so much for all of us, and it did so much for, you know, all the kids that grew up here and, you know, became staff and ran programs for other kids, that we want to make sure that it continued. Obviously, I'd love to keep it here because this is where, you know, I feel like I grew up. But the most important part was to make sure that we had, you know, programs that continued and that it was a thing for the future.
I think the most important thing to remember is, well, this is really rough leaving this place, if that's what happens. It used to be like 10 staff here or less. Like, this has grown. This has grown dramatically, and we can do that elsewhere if that's what needs to be done. This can be recreated elsewhere. It'll be a different version of it, but while this spot is beautiful, there's beautiful spots at Mincy too. Mine too.
Yeah, when I started here, there was probably 6 program staff and dining hall and Pioneer Cabin. A&B was brand new, strip mall was brand new, shower house was brand new. In the beginning days of, you know, knowing that we needed to pay out this money for bankruptcy,
Really rough leaving this place. What needs to be done. This can be recreated.
but I'll tell you this: the nicest facilities in the country don't make a camp. Yeah, when I started here, there was probably 6 program staff and dining hall and Pioneer Cabin. Yeah, when I started here, there was probably 6. Yeah, when I started here, there was probably 6 program staff and dining hall and Pioneer Cabin. A&B was brand new, strip mall was brand new. 6 program staff and started here, there was probably. Yeah, when I started here, there was. I started here, there was probably 6 programs. Staff and dining hall and Pioneer Cabin. A&B was brand new, strip mall was brand new, shower house was brand new. 6 program staff and dining hall and Pioneer Cabin. A&B was brand new, strip mall was brand new, shower house was brand new. And we're just. Yeah, when I started here, there was probably 6 program staff and dining hall and Pioneer Cabin. A&B was brand new, strip mall was brand new, shower house was brand new. And we're just starting to build everything. And obviously it's built and grown over the years, but, you know, I think the rough part is starting again with less. But I'll tell you this, the nicest facilities in the country don't make a camp.
It's the people. Yeah.
Lots of people come from all over and visit us and say, oh, we want to have a big Cub Scout resident camp in our council, and it's never really gotten off the ground. You know, we want to see what you guys have, what makes the difference. And 100% the first answer I always give them is the staff. It's the people here. It's growing these people from start to finish into the people that they are now, and, you know, making sure that they help grow the next group of people.
And the support of the parents of the staff, because they carpool them back and forth and
Yeah.
get them here, and honestly those parents have helped rebuild parts and build up the parts of the camp too, like physically built ranges and stuff, so
Yeah, the physical part of camp isn't the most important. So we get attached to that. But the staff is the most important part of any camp, 100%. And you can train new staff but it takes years for the staff to become who they are for us. You can't take a bunch of people and in one summer turn them into the most amazing staff in the world. It starts when they're little.
Okay. Anything else you want to say? Anything you want to end off on?
Lots of people come on from all.
Are you recording at this point for quality entertainment for yourself?
To an extent.
Well, yeah, it's definitely quality entertainment with the hour of footage me and Lila have of touring the camp with commentary.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be very. Freddie's just going to be at home in his apartment, and he's just going to be watching all these videos, and he's just going to be like, crying the whole
He's gonna be crying.
Speak for me.
Okay, Max, you can.
Not slack. Slack.
Alright, tonight's closing campfire. Weather, pending.
Well, everything is